So, everyone, this is Acid Roots. I've got Chris Brown on the brain, along with Tyga. We're going to talk about a fan of a fan. Now, immediately before we get started with this review, I want to make clear I'm probably not going to do commercial rap very often, but this is something that I do feel occasionally you have to throw in some of those radio songs just so people at least know who you can relate to people and you both have someone that you guys know. So that's the reason why I'm doing this. And really this record is different from a lot of the things that I've reviewed on my channel, and it felt like I was backpedaling when I listened to this record. That's not something I like to do, but that's the truth. And so honestly, that's kind of the thing, but I do think that there are some numbers on this record. It was made with women in mind, and you do need some cuts to kind of cruise to, but it also covered a number of attitudes. It also covered, in the bedroom type records when, where you turn down the loud music and you're just focusing. It had a couple of those records on there, had some records that were, afterward, after the night is done type records. There were just a couple of these on here. And then there's, of course, the club records, but then there's also some raunchier records that I really liked. So I just tried to give you a bunch of personalities concerning going out, but the problem with it is in 12 songs, you're going to have 12 songs, you've got to have the best records be the ones that we hear the most. So that's an issue for this album. And, we'll talk about Can You Smoke to it. So there are a number of songs you can smoke to. The most immediate one to me is Bitches and Marijuana as the best beat on this album. It was not produced by DJ Mustard, and it is just an overall hit. You definitely need to hear this song. Nothing Like Me is another one, and I'd probably venture that the song Ayo is pretty close. So that's a good 3 other records. I'm not going to spoil all the records that are good just yet. Those are some. So the production is handled the same way. Really, I didn't like a lot of production on this record. West Side's got a pretty good beat, but just, it's not a record I can see myself vibing to. Ayo is kind of mellow. Nothing Like Me is good. I Bet was really strange, but I couldn't quite get into that one, but it's worth mentioning. Bitches and Marijuana, She Going Up, these are just some good ones. So the unheard songs, this is the part of the record where I talk about songs that you may not have heard but need to. So, alright, I had 3 songs out of 12 that I liked that are hits no matter what. And the main thing is just that, Chris Brown is a commercial guy and Tyga kind of was too. So the thing is, when you compare Tech Nine's type thing, you're going to automatically think, well, he's dropped some records that are just nasty, crunchier, juicier. I know I'm using 3-6 Mafia, but they just have more a gnarled effect that swamps your brain more than these records do. And so, this felt like it was aimed specifically for the radio, and as a result, it's just not as much fun. So, keep that in mind, that this record is just kind of panned to the side. And so, for example, I'll talk about the song Ayo. This is an almost song. It's this really mellow, kind of watery sounding. Just felt like something that probably is going to get light club play, but just is not as excessive as it doesn't feel like it should have been the first, the song that people are going to remember this album for. So, but it's still a decent song, but I just couldn't quite give it as a hit. The three songs that I liked were Nothing Like Me, which was produced by DJ Mustard, Bitches and Marijuana, and She Going Up. All three of these have like that dark club feel that Juicy J is really good at doing, Tech Nine's really good at doing, and people like Prozac, Twista, Bone Thugs are good at doing. So those type songs would fit right in. In a way that I grade this album, you may not know, but I usually grade an album by how good it would feel to listen to at night. That's where people truly come alive and have the most fun, is when you hear these records and you're saying, well, it's nighttime, I want to take off my shirt, and I'm just trying to have a blast. Whatever you're doing at night doesn't matter. Those three songs are distinct numbers to play at nighttime. And so there were two Almost songs, and these were AO, like I mentioned, and then Real One. Now, Real One was a really kind of strange record. I couldn't put my finger on it, but I didn't want to say it was a bad song, but it did not stand out enough to become a hit. But those are just two extras, but it really, it's going to take a while for me to admit to whether or not I like them. The only other song that I will admit to almost liking is the song I Bet. So that's it as a whole. So I do not really recommend this song, but it's probably a good idea to check out those songs I mentioned. So I'm going to give this album a 3 out of 10. I would give it a 4 if I like the Almost songs, but I'm going to give it a solid 3, and, just go for it. It's a good 15 minutes of blast type music. So the future, this came out in 2015, so there, maybe there will be a sequel one day, but is this album social? I'll give it a 5 social, just because, these guys are recognized and they do make club hits. So they've got that going, plus women are going to like them. So, there's just more for them on this record than usual. So it's definitely something worth checking out if you're just a radio head. So can it be topped? Yes, it can, obviously, but I just felt like making a detour, so understand that. I give this album a 3 out of 10 and a 5 social. Subscribe for more fun.